With you when I first met Megan, I terribly wasn't interested in her.
I'm really sorry. I thought you were really pretty. Could I get your number or something?
Yeah.
I'll put a jacket.
Mm-hmm. Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Love this for you.
This is wonderful. I'm so excited.
Hi, my lovelies.
Good morning. It's very early. We're going to have a coffee chat. So on the channel, I typically don't talk about real people. There are times where I will bring up a author and how they have behaved badly in the community and done harm in some way. But typically speaking, I don't talk about other YouTubers, influencers, or the like, just because it's not necessarily how I want to create my content. I also typically don't read influencers' books just because typically it feels like shooting fish in a barrel. Like, that's very clickbaity. It feels very going after your colleague almost sometimes. But this particular situation is so very messy, and it is dealing with people's personal lives, so I'll be as diplomatic as possible. But it's a topic that I've wanted to talk about for a very long time, so I thought we might as well just have a little chat about it, you know? I have been trying to find a way to talk about how dark romance negatively affects its audience without coming across too preachy or judgy, because in this space, people seem to be giving specifically dark romance readers a lot of leeway, and that's why we have things like fully grown women thirsting after a 16-year-old boy solely because he's wearing a motorcycle helmet, or once again, fully grown women thirsting after an actual murderer. So, with that being said, we're going to dive into some murkier waters than usual. We're going to talk about this biker book talk girl scandal. Context, there's been a lot of biker talk crossover with book talk in the last year or so. This is not surprising, mostly because book talk became so fucking huge. It basically immersed itself anywhere on the internet where there were hot people, which is pretty much every niche you're gonna find hot people. So book talk became so relevant to literally everyone, because if you got book talk to show up, they showed up. It was kind of scary. But because there are so many views when it comes to book talk, there is now a calculated move on a lot of influencers' parts to create content that will bait them and get the views. And that, I think, is exactly what happened here. Because this is dealing with emotions and a lot of really extreme claims, I will just be referring to these people as Biker Boy and Book Talk Girl, because that is their personas online, and I don't have a relationship with these people. I don't know them. Honestly, I don't really want to, but this is the persona that they have portrayed online, and this is the information that they have given online. And I won't be using their names. If you want to check them out, absolutely fine with me. Do not send hate to these people. Don't do that. That's weird and obnoxious, to be honest. I'm just going over a situation. There is no need to go personally crucify another person on the internet because they did something you don't like, or they may have done something you don't like. That's the other thing. So don't do that. So the entire relationship between these two people seems to have been documented from the jump. Their meet cute was recorded by him going up to her car in his motorcycle helmet, asking for her number because he thought she was cute. Remember that for later. Honestly, the first few videos just almost felt like a Disney movie. They went on a bunch of rides. It was really it seemed like they got along really well. And it was making me kick my feet because I was getting the content from the get-go because I happen to like bikers. Who would have thought? Book Talk Girl mentions that the biker boy actually encouraged her to create a book talk account and start posting. Just something I want to focus on. She liked reading, but having your now public girlfriend, for lack of a better term, post more in a niche that has become so prevalent in your own comments is something to be mindful of, you know? So as I said, there's been many videos of them going on rides, flirting, having a good time. And then there's a video that blew the fuck up where he takes her to Barnes & Noble and spends $160 on her worth of books, which is a lot of books and it's also a lot of money. But when you have millions of followers on TikTok, it's kind of chump change, especially when you know that this is a crossover into, once again, one of the most powerful niches on BookTok, or TikTok, excuse me, see? Interchangeable almost. You can audibly hear in the video how much fun the BookTok girl is having, picking out books, showing them to the biker boy, and even the staff is just clearly enamored with these two because it's absolutely adorable that they're just going around and picking out books that, once again, are books that don't have a lot of healthy representation of relationships in them. At first glance, when I watched that video, I could look past my cynical worldview on those books because these two were adorable. Romance. Oh no. This is exactly what the biker boy wanted. He wanted to use this girl to get as many views as possible from people who like these books. But then as a house of cards will come falling down, everything kind of came apart, as it will. And now, just a few days ago, BookTok Girl's video or live has been documented, as well as Biker Boy's response, which is the very concerning thing that I want to really talk about in this situation. In Biker Boy's video, he says some incredibly concerning things about BookTok Girl. When a guy says, I had to force myself to keep dating you, there's an indication of a problem, which does seem pretty obvious, but I do think a lot of people are dating people who are disinterested in them, and they just assume that if they stick around, maybe that person will end up changing their mind. Spoiler alert, they won't. Especially if they're only seeing you because of the views and the attention you give them. That is not, no. What I want to be clear here is that I don't want to psychoanalyze these people, but I am just going to present the facts that I have been able to collaborate, compile regarding the timeline of events, and hopefully making this video will encourage people to watch out for this type of behavior in other influencers so that they don't support these type of people, I guess, is what I'm saying. Not to say that the BookTok Girl is at fault here. She's not. She was clearly lied to and led on for months. The timeline of events seems to be that Biker Boy broke up with his ex. Something clearly happened there. He needed someone to fill the space. He started hanging out with BookTok Girl. They did a bunch of things. He wasn't being emotionally vulnerable with her because, once again, he doesn't like her. She was pressing him, and then she found out about the fact that he made out with a girl 2 weeks before they were officially dating, that he never told her about, from what I can tell. And then things just kind of exploded from there. I do think we have to take into consideration the age range of the people involved in this. No one has a fully developed frontal cortex. I think the oldest person involved in this is like maybe 22. But the bigger thing about a lot of this is that the biker boy knows what he's doing with these videos. He knows he has a predominantly female audience. I don't know how hard it is to take suggestive videos with a bike, but I know for a fact that a lot of his fandom probably comes from the people that watch the videos with BookTok Girl. She literally is known as his girlfriend online. That's scary because weaponizing the people that you have against her is terrifying and completely not okay. And here's the thing. He claims he didn't do anything like that on purpose. When they broke up, he went out with a friend. That friend made a video basically implying that he was already getting it on with other people hours after he broke up with BookTok Girl, to which BookTok Girl did not take that well. I can only imagine. I have been in that situation, albeit obviously years ago and not in front of millions of people, But Biker Guy basically said, I am not going to do anything. That's my friend's video. I can't take that down. Which, I'm sorry, if my friend made a video that was going to be seen thousands of times that painted my ex in such a negative light, and they hadn't done anything to me, I would not be allowing my friend to post that. Or they would just end up not being my friend anymore. That's crazy talk. That being said, threatening to dox anyone is a threat. I don't know the exact legalities of doxing and whether it can be considered an actual, illegal offense, but I'm wanting to say it can be. And Biker Boy claims that when Book Talk Girl saw that video, she called him threatening to dox him. Or from what I could tell, maybe just telling him that she was going to tell people his real name. I'm not exactly sure what actually constitutes doxing to him, because it seems like there was a whole other issue, and he brings up a lot of different people that I had no interest in diving into. It seems like he has multiple women already freaking out about this whole situation, which leads me to believe his claims of not having cheated. Doubtful, but I digress. He does claim that Book Talk Girl basically said that she was going to dox him, which, considering the fact that he does not present receipts for this, I am worried that he is painting her as a villain to, once again, his multiple millions of people that follow him, that want to be her. That's the other thing about the Barnes & Noble video. They wandered around in that bookstore in motorcycle helmets. I worked in a Barnes & Noble. I don't know how you could see through those things. The only reason I can assume that they did that was so that you could pretend to be her as the viewer. That is a very just clear understanding that I have of mask kink or whatever, but that's a whole other story. Don't knock over my light, please. Most of the videos that Biker Boy posts about this, he talks about how, oh, these people aren't standing on business and all of this stuff, which leads me to believe he thinks that he gets to do whatever he wants because he's a hot biker boy. But you were using the person that you were dating publicly for views, and you don't see anything wrong with that? You don't see why that would be a problem? Bringing it back to dark romance, at least for me, I've talked numerous times on this channel about how unhealthy relationships in books that don't tell you in a lot of ways that the relationship on display is unhealthy, can negatively impact the younger audience those books are created for. And now, do I think that the young biker boy who treats you really well in front of a camera, but behind closed doors, or hours before going to a Barnes & Noble and buying you a bunch of books, you were fighting? I don't know how we can attribute that kind of behavior to the unhealthy relationships that are on display in a lot of these books, but I don't think that there is no correlation, I guess. Let me be clear. If it had come out that these two were faking their entire relationship for views consensually, both of them were on the same page and they were both gaining from it monetarily, cool, awesome, great. I doubt it though. I doubt, considering Book Talk Girl does not seem to have been on the up and up when it comes to the fact that she was clearly being used. I do think that he probably gained a lot of AdSense and a ton of sponsorship deals off of her because she was the prop in his video. He did not see her, as you can hear in his videos, as a person. He doesn't think that she's pretty. He thinks that she's not interesting. And even though he told her he loved her, he lied so that she would stay around and ride with him. Stop. At the end of the day, we don't have all of the information. Obviously, we don't know these people. But from what I can gather, this guy used her for clout and is now turning it around and saying that she used him, which, brother, stop it. That was a little aggressive, but ooh, this has me mad. There's no standing on business when you readily admit that you only hung out with her because she was there, sir.
To be truthfully honest with you, when I first met Megan, I terribly wasn't interested in her. She's not my type. If you guys have ever seen a picture of a girl that I've dated in the past, which you probably haven't, but if you did, Megan's not really the spitting image of that. She's not my type, basically, is what I'm saying. Talk to Megan like weeks or even a month at a time. I was seeing the other girl that I had met. I didn't see anything wrong with it. The girl I really liked, we cut each other off. Something happened between me and the girl that I was seeing, and we weren't gonna see each other anymore. And so I very quickly hit up Megan just as someone to be there.
Do I think the trend of guys doing whatever they can to get book talk summoned will go away? No, that's going to stay around for quite some time. I don't think there's anything technically wrong with that as long as A, the person is a adult, and B, isn't doing stupid shit like this. That's it. And or a murderer. Because here's the thing. I made a tweet that was like, dark romance girlies, we gotta have a chat. And people were like, don't generalize us. And I'm like, no. If your community has people sexualizing an actual serial killer, I would do some personal introspection. I'm just saying. When it comes down to it, if your partner cannot be vulnerable with you unless the camera is on, I'm not a doctor, but that doesn't seem right. Men, stop being dickheads, and if you want views, enter into a relationship with someone that either knows what you want ahead of time or literally just find a consenting individual and sign a contract and perform for us, because that's what you're going to do anyway. Women, stop centering men. Full stop. That might get me some hate, but in this general situation, maybe stop giving all of your attention to a boy who's clearly not capable of handling his own shit. Non-binary people, keep being fabulous. That's it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I don't know what my outro is anymore because it's been a minute since I've filmed. Thank you, Chill Dude, for pointing out that my calendar seems to have forgotten to have Sundays on it. It had this one, though, so I'm glad to be back. I have some other things that I want to make for you guys. If you want to keep up with me and what I'm thinking about and doing, you can follow me on Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon for bonus content. I'm gonna go now, guys. Subscribe, all the good stuff. Bye!